We end our program tonight by turning our thoughts to a sad event that happened today closer to home. An outstanding Canadian, Tommy Douglas, died in Ottawa. His accomplishments were many, but perhaps his greatest legacy is our healthcare system. When he was Premier of Saskatchewan, Tommy Douglas was the first provincial leader to bring in Medicare. Canada's ambassador to the United Nations, Stephen Lewis, remembers him.
In 1956, I was 18 years old, and I had an experience which influenced my life ever after. I traveled with Tommy Douglas during the Saskatchewan election campaign. It was extraordinary. I've never seen from that day to this such magic worked. Tommy the storyteller, leaving his audience helpless in the aisles, every punchline preceded by that contagious chuckle of his, and every joke carrying an instructive political message. Then Tommy the political artisan, setting out piece by lucid piece what he had done in Saskatchewan, what there was still left to do, and what he was determined to achieve. And finally, Tommy the visionary never made a speech that didn't describe the kind of society he wanted to create for Saskatchewan and for Canada. You know all the memorable, concrete achievements over the years. But what made Tommy so special was his humanness and approachability on the one hand. No one was ever self-conscious or clutched when Tommy was around. And on the other, his sense of moral passion. Tommy's convictions were rooted not only in his socialism, but in his Christianity. And the combination of the two gave to his oratory and to the conduct of his political life a moral authority that we just don't see very often these days. May I be intensely personal? A whole generation is fast coming to an end. All the great architects of the Democratic left. David Lewis is dead, so is Andrew Bruen. Stanley Knowles is severely troubled by a stroke, and now Tommy is gone. He exemplifies what they've all stood for and what is so fine about Canada. A kind, kind man, Tommy, with generosity of spirit, vitality of intellect, always forgiving of those who differed, and seized with the determination to make our country and its politics more civilized, more just, and more humane. His works will echo through the decades. One inevitably recalls the words of Shakespeare. Here was a man, take him for all in all, we shall not look upon his like again. In New York, I'm Stephen Lewis.